So, we did the Josh bar yesterday from the Magicians, and, we had like a back to basics day before that. So today is another one of our theme days. And it's a character that I both love and can completely forget in equal parts. And so that's very interesting and weird. And I will tell you all about the interesting and weird in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 38 of 365 days of soap, year 2, and today we are doing Quentin's bar. Quentin Coldwater. Yes. And I'm wearing this shirt actually for a reason, but I did want to take, and I couldn't find a post-it to like put like a little knot to make it the book was not better, because honestly I do not think the Magician books were nearly as good as the series, and that's literally the first time I have ever said that about a book that was turned into a series or a movie ever in my life, because I'm a reader first and foremost. But yeah, the series is wildly better, and the series in both forms, book and television show, starts with Quentin Coldwater. Now, this is the one scent that we are not using Sierra candles for, because for Quentin Coldwater, we had to use cool, clear water. And I pick up mine from Nature's Garden. So I already had it in stock, and so we had to do that because, of course. Now, the pour is very interesting. If you look at the cards that are around him, that's definitely factored into, the pour itself, because Quentin, started out with being just a sleight of hand magician, right? Like just learning the tricks before he realized that he was actually a magician. And so that definitely comes into play. And also we are going to be playing around with a very cool slab pour, as well as some embeds made to look like shards of mirror, because yes. And that scene and that episode and everything that sort of builds up is why I love him so very much, but also at the same time can kind of lift him out and do without him. And I think that's the whole point and the beauty of his character. I mean, his specialty in magic is minor mendings, right? Like everybody else has all these cool things. Some people can, travel through time and travel through space, and some people can, it's wild. And he's minor mendings. He can fix a mirror. That. Yes. Anyway, I'm really going to try to not do any spoilers. So we're going to go to the video and hope I manage to do so there too. Okay. Quentin Coldwater. Where the entire magician story begins with Quentin Coldwater. And because he's Quentin Coldwater, this is scented with cool, clear water, who I think every fragrance company makes this scent. I get mine from Nature's Garden, and it performs delightfully, so that's awesome. Now, I haven't been talking about the oils and stuff in the theme lines, really, because, it's more about the theme than, anything else. And so, I'll do that because I've got a hot second to do so. I am actually using the swirls blend recipe that I gave you, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago now, I think. Yeah. So that's what's being used for this guy. Now, for the pour, I'm going to be working with a slab and doing melt and pour embeds, those little things you see in the upper right hand corner, as well as little melt and pour toppers, which are super adorable, and came in a little mold that I got when we were doing the Alice bars for the Amy Warden Soap Challenge thing. And there were also cards, and that is perfect for Quentin, because Quentin was a sleight of hand magician, like a trick magician, before he realized and learned that he was a real magician. And he realized and learned that when he sort of got magically teleported onto the Break Bills campus, which is hidden by all kinds of like spells and tricks and everything, much like Hogwarts is hidden in the Harry Potter books. Yeah, like that. Again, magicians is Hogwarts or Harry Potter for grown-ups, but I don't really find that to be true. The only things that are really similar is magic and a school. But everything else, Harry Potter was definitely built for children. This world was built for an adult mind that can sort of track things a bit better, like multiple timelines and all the different mind warps that go on. Yep, all the things. Now, Quentin is as much as a main character there can be in this series. I guess he's the main character. And it all starts out with his love for a place called Fillory. And Fillory is this magical place that a group of English children who were staying with an older English man would find by going through, well, a clock. Sounds an awful lot like C.S. Lewis, right? Yes. And so in the first few episodes of the very first season, when I first watched this, I was Googling, are the Fillory books real? Because that's the vibe I was getting, that this was a real, like a children's story type thing that they were playing on with, adults having grown up, and then they still are in love with the books that they read as children. And so it was a very compelling series, like right from the jump, because of that. Okay, and on to the pour of this beautiful soap, because aren't those swirls absolutely gorgeous? Yes, they are. This is just an in the pot swirl, and I'm just going to lay it down into the slab and then put all the rest of the pretties on it, because awesome. Yes. Now, in the Fillory, the answer to the question, are Fillory books real? They're not. They are not real. The magician's books are real, so that's cool, for sure. But it was so intriguing and so interesting in that I could not tell what exactly they were trying to do within this show. Like, is this a parody? I was hooked just as someone who really loves to read. I was hooked just because of the sort of mystery behind, that. And Quentin is like the adult who just loves the Fillory books, who believes in it, but wants Fillory to be a place. Whenever he had a difficult time in childhood or even adulthood, he would open up the Fillory books and go back to the place that made sense. And then he actually got to go to Fillory IRL when he finds out that, it is a real place. And things don't make sense the way that he expects them to make sense. And so he has to sort of deal with all of that. Now, we've been doing this D&D alignment thing for all of this, except for when I find it problematic and I don't really want to touch it. And I would say that Quentin Coldwater on the scale falls in lawful good. He's definitely a good character, with the exception of, one hot minute episode in an alternate timeline, and that was different, whatever. And he definitely is not real big on breaking rules. He likes rules. He likes structure. He likes having an end point. Like, he likes knowing what the expectations are so he can meet them. And cares about his friends a whole lot. He spirals on his own in his own personal way, but not in a self-indulgent kind of way. So I would say for that, he definitely falls within the lawful good of all of it. I haven't done any evil characters throughout this entire series, and I kind of did that intentionally. There are so many characters within the Magicians that I could have done a 20-bar series easily and included some kind of, evil characters, whatever evil, really means. And I didn't do it. Maybe I'll revisit and I'll do, the problematic characters or whatever in the Magicians line later. But, I wanted to go with the characters that I loved and resonated with, or had big connections with the characters that I loved or resonated with, whatever. And so that's what we did. Now, these little guys, these little cards, I just put a little bit of mica down in the little mold that I had for the, the colors on the playing cards, and then just poured over it with some white melt and pour. And those are just going to go on the top of it because card tricks were a big deal in Quentin's life. And the clear melt and pour that I put in some skin safe glitter, whatever that stuff is from Mad Micas, that's to represent mirror shards. And thinking about that episode and why mirror shards is actually going to make me cry, so we're not going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about how we are going to put this into the oven for C-pop and gel, and hope that those things on the top don't melt. They probably won't, but you never know. And we will cut into this and look at all the individual bars. I mean, right now. Okay, and on to the cut of Quentin, and the glitter is so sparkly. I love it. I love how it totally does. It looks like mirror shards. That is amazing. And the color selection for this was a couple reasons. One, it's the art that's in the pontoon, but also in the scene with the mirror, there's definitely some black and white and some blue at play. And also Alice's bar to do the Niffin, there's black, white, and blue. And I wanted these bars to sort of complement each other because Quentin and Alice, in their own awkward ways, complement each other. And it's a very interesting relationship between the two of them. And yeah, this scent with the cool clear water, I'm sure you've used it if you were a soaper. I'm sure you've smelled it if you, use my products, because I use it in a couple things because I love it so very much. It's very masculine. It's very cold. It's like that old clear water, cool water cologne. I think it's cool water. Cool clear water. Right, it's cool water. And it's delightful, for sure. And these bars are absolutely gorgeous. I love how they turned out. It's always weird working with the slab because usually you know exactly what's, like you can just look at it and go, oh yeah, totally, they all worked. Cool, because you can see the top of the bar. But, in this case, it's fun chunking them all out to see where all of the little pieces of mirror ended up going from when the mirror was destroyed. And so, that's cool. And I like it. And I like how none of the playing cards melted too, because that's always important. It would be weird, but they didn't do that. And the swirl goes all the way through. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, these are the perfect bars for Quentin. If I had to go back and redo any of the bars that I've done for the line so far, I might try to do something a little bit different with Henry Fogg, with Dean Fogg, but that would be the only one. This is one that definitely I would never consider changing up. I don't know how else I would do it to make Quentin, unless it was like the Fillory map, like the Fillory map that I showed you in Jane's video. But that's a lot. So yeah, no, I think these are absolutely perfect for Quentin Coldwater. And yeah, I love it. Quentin is a very interesting character. He binds everyone together. He's critically important because he starts the story and, you know, does really important things throughout all of it, but also is one of those characters that you can kind of forget because his impact isn't huge. But sometimes those are the best characters ever. The ones who leave not the biggest impact, the most impactful impact can still leave a big one. Does that make sense? Shut the front door. Those bars are epic. I love them so much. I actually wasn't 100% sure on them when I just saw them completely in slab form, but as they started getting chunked out into where everything ultimately ends up going with the card placement and then the mirror shards around it, just and the color scheme definitely matches. Well, I mean, it matches the background of this picture, this artwork, but also it matches Alice's bar too, because it has to. Yes, and Cool Clear Water, it's a great scent. I don't know if I talked about it at all in the actual, you know, video, the pour or whatever, but it's a good one. It's like that old Cool Water cologne thing, right? It's like that. It's a dead ringer and it soaps beautifully all of the time. So yes, that for sure. Now, Quentin is not quite the last in the Magician's line, so you cannot get these bars at soapandclay.com yet, but there's a lot of other stuff. You can go pick up Labyrinth and do that jazz, for sure. If you're interested in seeing the last two characters that we do, subscribe. Come back. Come check it out. That would be awesome. For those of you who are subscribed, hey, thanks for being my sudsers and being amazing, and for having all the chit-chats with me in the comments all of the time, no matter the subject matter. So thank you. I appreciate you every day. And I'm glad that you came back today for another round of 365 days of soap. I'm out of here, and I will see you guys all again, you know, tomorrow for another round of soapy fun. Bye.